Good afternoon, and thanks for making the time to be here today, either here with us in person or via the live stream, or if you're maybe taking the time to watch this at a later date. It's important to me that we have this opportunity to come together to share the strategic direction and progress of our organization. It's also important to me that you have an opportunity to ask questions or to make comments about our organization. I stood here last fall, well actually it was up in the gym, when we were last together, to announce a very ambitious, innovative, and person-centered strategic plan. I am so pleased to be able to bring an update of where these projects and goals are at today. And I have to say, the work that has been accomplished is outstanding. You have all worked incredibly hard. You've been creative and insightful in the development of plans, the creation of new services, and the implementation of our goals over the past year. As the leader of this organization, I stand here with the rest of the executive team and the board of directors, and I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you for your dedication, your energy, and your willingness to embrace change, even when it sometimes makes your work more challenging. We've shared information throughout the year about where our strategic priorities are in their development, and I want to take a few minutes now to walk you through each one of our strategic priorities. Our most aggressive priority is expansion and transition. Our services are changing. We are evolving as an organization to meet the needs of people with developmental disabilities who live within our community and to meet the needs of our funders. We're doing this in a way that is somewhat strategic, meaning we have a plan and goals, and we're also responsive to needs that arise. As these changes happen, we are working with our funders to reclassify River Road Place from a developmental center to a healthcare center. The change is going to happen. It means that our admission criteria will change. The new criteria will include people who need respite, crisis stabilization, and complex medical care. Some of these changes are happening right now. We have a goal of transitioning 15 people a year over the next 5 years from River Road Place to community-based options. To date, we have 6 people who have made the transition, and we expect 8 more to move before the end of 2014. We have an additional 6 people with opportunities to move into the community by the end of March. Needless to say, we are more than on track for our 5-year goals. Respite is a huge need in our community and a service area we are committed to grow. We've had the pleasure of working with students from our research center who have completed an environmental scan to see what kinds of respite options exist around the world. Additionally, we have completed our own survey of families that we support and are well situated to start making some decisions and plans around expansion in this area. As people we support at River Road Place transition to community, that leaves us with space and opportunity to develop new service areas that are needed in Manitoba. We are currently exploring crisis stabilization options that will likely occupy a part of the current cottage units. The transitions leave us with a decreased census. With less people to support, our staff ratios are better, and we have the opportunity to provide better, more personalized services to the individuals living at River Road Place. We have plans to refresh and renovate the living units to create a more appealing space and to ultimately give every person here their own personal room. We will also improve the degree of participation, choice, and independence for people supported here at River Road Place. We want to help build relationships for the individuals we support. People will be matched with people for care and for volunteer activities. The intent is to focus on and support the relationship rather than the task or the activity. Over the past year, in response to our funders' request, we have opened a new home in the community to assist people with acquired brain injuries. Currently, we are supporting 3 individuals and are in the process of preparing 2 new homes that will increase the capacity to at least 5 individuals. We have also been working with Child and Family Services to expand our foster care resources to include emergency placements for children. We are currently almost at the point where we're ready to develop 10 new emergency foster homes. Additionally, we will provide a rapid response clinical assessment service, which means that we send a staff person to assess children that come into care of Child and Family and then make recommendations for appropriate support services. The community residential service continues to grow. In the past year, we have opened 5 new homes. We are piloting an innovative supports project. Our current process of determining supports is largely based on government funding. We are developing a new model that is based on what people actually need. The project should alleviate the challenges and barriers of sometimes over-supporting individuals. The focus will be on individual planning, as it has always been, and a new system of identifying support requirements. So far, we are trying this strategy with 5 people that we support. As I hope everybody knows, our centralized intake service has been operational for almost a year. Additionally, Clinical Services has developed a model of service that maintains the excellence they are known for and also maximizes our reach. More detailed information will come soon about the service, but basically, each person who makes a request for service will be assessed and classified into one of 5 different classifications. Each of these classifications means varying hours of service and end goals that will meet the individual's needs. As you can see, we have a huge number of initiatives on the go, and the expansion and transition priority is well on its way to our 5-year goals. Again, I want to thank everyone who is working on these projects, whose work has changed as a result of these projects, and for your energy and patience as we work towards a family-centered model that is going to fill some real needs in our community and improve the lives and families who benefit from our support. In the education and leadership excellence priorities area, St.Amant has launched a web portal early in the new year that serves as a place for families, self-advocates, and other people who work in the field to learn more about developmental disabilities, autism, and health and social realities that go along with those labels. This is also the section of our website where we post our upcoming training workshops and where the online course content will be found. We have recently launched an English at Work program to support our employees who are new to Canada. We're very pleased with the level of interest in this class. Additionally, we have begun training on family-centered practice and inclusive communication and planning style that looks at the whole family as an important part of our care. And I have to say on this note on family-centered practice, one of the things that attracted me to St.Amant over 2 years ago when I came here was the fact that we do embrace that. And so this training is really just reinforcing what we've been trying to do for many years. There is much more training and development in the works, including all of the work we're doing in the area of mindfulness. But I'll touch more on that in a few minutes. Our last priority is communication. This priority is our commitment to be open and transparent with all of you. I hope that through these town hall meetings, the information we distribute through your managers and directors and on our intranet news, that you feel like you are aware of the changes and feel a part of the new and exciting future of our organization. I want to take a moment to celebrate a few achievements. We officially opened the St.Amant Spirit Cottage a few weeks ago. If you haven't had a chance to see it in person yet, I encourage you to talk to Rick or Juliet and to go and have a look for yourself. This was a $1 million project that was led on the fundraising side by Juliet Muka and on the construction side by Rick Quinn. I want to extend my thanks and recognition to the hard work and excellent outcome that has been achieved. Juliet and her team and Rick and Paul Simard and their teams spent countless time and energy making this cottage a reality. Additionally, Todd McDonald, Berna Clausen, Michelle Miai, and Lanit Wallstra stepped up to the plate at various times throughout the project to ensure that the cottage would make sense from the perspective of the people we support. I think we should all be very proud of this initiative. I know I can't wait to hear the stories about the many experiences individuals will have out there. We've had lots of questions about the booking of the cottage and who can use it and when. We are waiting for the City of Winnipeg to give us the final occupancy permit, which is the final step to being able to use it for overnight stays. We expect that to come any day now. There will be an online booking system, and one person from each program will be designated as the person who books the time for your area. We will have more information and communication as soon as it is available to book. I also want to take a minute to acknowledge each and every one of you and your commitment, passion, energy, and support for our Free the Spirit Festival. The event raised more money than ever, and we are really excited to be able to tell you that we have approved the use of funds raised by our St.Amant Foundation for the following purposes as outlined as priorities by all of you. So we have approved the St.Amant Leisure Fund for the amount of $25,000. We have approved $50,000 of funding so that we can purchase personal items and equipment, and examples that were given when this was brought forward was sometimes the government will pay for the first pair of glasses, but they won't pay for the second one unless it's, I think there's a 2-year window there. Sometimes dentures for people aren't covered. These are things that I think all of us would agree are basic needs, and so we've agreed to put $50,000 into that fund. We've also put $50,000 into an educational and technology fund, and this was an idea brought forward by staff because we support people who want to take courses and who need the tuition money to do so. They may need the transportation money to do so, and they may even need the laptop or iPad or other supports to be able to see that things that we take for granted are often their dreams, so that we can make those come true. We also have put $50,000 in a personal recreation fund, and we know that many of the people that we're supporting day to day, by week 2 or 3 in the month, they've often spent all of their money. And so this fund is meant to subsidize and to provide them with the opportunity to participate more fully in the community, and to also to cover the expenses of their support worker in doing so. And finally, we've also approved $100,000 to go ahead and redo one of the existing living units within this building here. So that total of what I just announced comes to $275,000. It's no secret that we're growing, supporting more people, and opening new services all the time. With that kind of growth comes a need for space. We know that space is very limited here at our head office and have been planning for a number of years to accommodate the growth. An opportunity has arisen to lease some additional office and training space at a building on Moore in St. Vital. We are currently preparing to renovate that space, and we'll be making decisions soon about which group of staff will work out of that building. We are also looking at this building and starting to talk about what possible renovations to office space to make it more shared or open areas, and we'll be able to accommodate more and anticipated growth. Part of the plan is to ensure that within the next 3 years, permanent full-time staff will move from the modular office space into the main building. Space planning has been a real challenge for a number of years, and we want to thank everyone for your patience as we work through these growing pains. And speaking of growing, as we grow, so does the need for childcare spaces at River Road Childcare. We are happy to announce that the renovations have been completed and the kids have been back in their daycare for over a week. We now have 8 new spaces that have already been filled. I want to extend a big thanks to everyone who pulled together to extend their hospitality by making room for the children and the staff here in this space while theirs was being renovated. Now, many of you have likely heard the word mindful around St. Amant over the past couple of years. We have hosted some training on mindfulness. We have talked a bit about being mindful in the workplace, and he even had a mindful lunch table in the cafeteria. Mindfulness is a concept, a way of behaving that is rooted in self-discipline and proven by research to have a profound impact on a person's well-being, as well as the health of an organization when practiced in work settings. St.Amant leadership has embraced mindfulness and will be talking more about it over the coming months. You will see more opportunity to learn about mindfulness and will be asked by your managers to embrace it and practice it at work. We are currently working to weave mindfulness training into all of the training we offer, as the hope is that it will meld with our values and become a seamless part of the St.Amant culture. We prepared a short video as we spoke to some of the staff here who have participated in the mindfulness training. So I'll direct your attention to the screens, if I could, for just a few moments. I want to thank Barbara, Jacob, and Kim for participating in the video and sharing their experience of the training and the philosophy. As you can see, the benefits of mindfulness are really twofold. First, the people you support will feel the difference in your connection and presence. They will feel more respected, valued, and cherished throughout their day. This should also be felt by your colleagues. Second, you should have an increased satisfaction in your job, and you should experience a better sense of wellness and balance. This is important to me as a leader and as a person. So, as I said, we have tried some different training programs. Andrew Turhock has run mindful touch training on the living units. In collaboration with music therapy, he ran a music and massage session. We've also offered mindfulness-based stress reduction training on site, as well as meditation in the chapel. There is a working group that is trying a number of initiatives throughout the organization. We are currently supporting a research student to run a mindfulness class for young people with Asperger's. All of these programs are being evaluated to see whether they have an effect on our well-being and the well-being of the people we support. The Employee Engagement Survey is one of the tools that will help us evaluate staff well-being now and staff well-being a year from now. So please, this survey is the best way to share your ideas and create change in your work environment. Please take the 20 minutes and fill in the survey. Additionally, we are working with the Catholic Health Corporation and the St. Boniface Hospital Research Foundation to develop a research evaluation on these initiatives. My sense is that mindfulness is going to have a big influence on your personal wellness and the wellness of our organization. I want everyone to know that we have been working really hard in the community to be a leader in change and innovation on the provincial stage. We have taken an active role in the executive of Abilities Manitoba, and Abilities is an organization that represents about 70 similar organizations to us. So we've been working really hard through Abilities to advocate for wage increases for support workers, as well as to professionalize the sector. We have also been actively assisting with a communication strategy, including supporting the Abilities Manitoba in organizing their most recent press conference so that we could bring these issues to light. We invite organizations to share our space. We hosted the most recent Abilities public consultation in our gym in the spring. We've offered rooms here for training and for parent support groups, and even shared our sensory pool with others in the community. We have gone to great efforts to open our conference up to other organizations so that all agencies will see it as a great professional development opportunity. And I have to let you know, we've had some really great response. So I want to take this moment just to say, be sure that when the registration opens up for this year's conference, or next year's, I guess it is in June 2nd and 3rd, that you take advantage of what we think is a very fantastic opportunity. Again, I just want to thank everyone for all of your effort. Your hard work does not go unnoticed. St.Amant is growing. St.Amant is changing. Ultimately, St.Amant is making a big difference in the lives of the people and the families we support. And ultimately, each and every one of you is making a big difference. We're now going to take a 15-minute break. I would ask if you could take, during that 15 minutes, please write down any questions you might have on our strategic directions, our current projects, or anything else. We'll pick up the questions from your tables throughout the break, and if you're watching from a different location, you can text your questions to the number that's now appearing on the screen. I'm happy to answer all of your questions, so please enjoy your break. So thank you for those who did the question, and I can share with you that we did receive something over the text. We received a picture of a bag of Lay's chips. So if anyone can help me interpret whether that's a question or whether that's a sponsorship opportunity, I don't know. But okay, I'm just going to read them as we've done in the past and then do my very best to answer them. Will clients recommended to go to group homes still be accessing services at River Road Place? And the example is St.Amant School. The simple answer is that individuals who move or transition to a community opportunity, we are trying to look at what options are available in the community. So if there's a school that is an option for that person, then that would be explored. But our school also continues to be an option. Okay? What is your vision for the St.Amant School in the expansion and change of St.Amant? We are very clear that our school plays a role in the continuum of education services across the province. We've heard that directly from senior people from the Department of Education. But that doesn't stop us from, as a matter of fact, if you watch our video, we have about a 10-minute video that we show to people that we bring in from the community. It talks about our school and how we're there to provide education to kids with really challenging needs. But our ultimate goal is to try and get those kids to return back into their community school if possible. If not, then we will continue to provide services and have done so to those children. I don't expect that our vision will change dramatically, but I do think that we will develop in that continuum. Because we're asked to do consultation in other schools, we'll probably develop that consultation model even further. And some of our staff have some really good ideas around that, as well as I think if we listen to the questions we're being asked by the divisions, it's everything from can you come in and do an assessment to can you come in and do some training for our staff. So those are areas where I think we can share our expertise even more in the future. Will there be an expansion of the school services in the local community? I think I probably went right into that one. The engagement survey that we're doing right now, is it confidential? Yes. You cannot be identified as the person who filled out that survey, including the one, I guess maybe I can. I might be the only one, right? Yeah, I'm the only one. Having trouble accessing my email around to get it, so how do I get that information? I believe Audrey will be available in 402 if you need some help accessing your email to respond to the survey. And I deleted my link. Can I get another one? If you call Jennifer Kalimnik at 2613, you can get that information. Really want to encourage people again to try and fill out that engagement survey. It's going to give us some valuable data, both for this year and as we move forward. I'd like to know if the group homes are going to have a surprise inspection at all. Here at River Road, our work is checked daily and access. Who is monitoring their work? Okay, so the team leaders and the coordinators who oversee the community homes have a regular schedule that isn't always shared with the staff who work in the homes, where they drop in and do visits. In addition to that, there is licensing, fire, health, and I don't know if I've missed anything else, but all of those checks are done on the community homes on a regular basis. Good question. Oh, this one's a thank you for moving the conference to the Victoria Inn. That's a comment. So that lets you know the conference is at the Victoria Inn, free parking, and very, very accessible. With the downsize of residents, is there a commitment from the government to maintain the current staff numbers, or does this have to be negotiated? I view it that we don't want them to decrease. We have a strong argument that they shouldn't decrease, and I think I've shared some of those arguments with you. The average person here gets about 7 to 11 hours of day service a week if they live at River Road once they're 21. In the community, they have access to 35 to 40 hours a week. So we got a long way to go to be able to get up to what we would call equal with what people in the community are getting. So for me, that's part of the argument of you're not taking any of our resources. We need them to offer a equitable service as far as number of hours that the community gets. We also have made the argument that there are people here that are restrained in some forms during the day sometimes, and if we had more staff and one-to-one available, they would not have to be restrained for as long a period. Those are two very strong arguments that I use every time and that we use every time at the executive when we are meeting with our funders. It seems to stop the conversation and then we move on to another topic fairly quickly. So I hope that answers the question. It is always a constant negotiation. I would always view our funding as being in negotiation. But I think we have some pretty strong arguments for what we do with our money here. Why are we not allowed to collect for fellow staff, say, who are retiring or there was a family tragedy? Can we start doing collections again? The information that came from us as a leadership group was that there was no policy to say that you had to collect when someone retired. We were getting some feedback that some people were feeling pressure that they had to do that. But what we have said is voluntarily, if people want to do that, that's how they're doing it. They're doing it voluntarily, so we're not saying you can't do it, but you have to do it respectfully and on your own time, in essence, if I can say it that way. So yes, it's permitted, but under different circumstances. Do you have a specific location in mind for building the respite services? We have some ideas, and any new idea that we come up with, often people say we should put it as close to the front door as possible. So we've got a few ideas. Whether respite will end up in a certain area, we have not made that decision as of yet. So if you hear rumors, that's what they are. They're possible options for discussion. Will Albert Beach Cottage be renovated or remodeled? Now, I suspect this question may come from the people who just viewed the Spirit Cottage. And I can see why that question would come forward. We do not have plans at this time to renovate the Albert Beach Cottage, but should we have someone come forward, or should we, I guess this come forward as a strong need through the organization, it is a possibility to add to our list of things to do. I would never say it's not something we want to do. Or better yet, if you know someone who wants to build one for us and donate it, we would gladly accept it, and then we could either keep the Albert Beach location or sell it and put it towards the new cabin that's being built for us. What is complex care and what type of resident qualifies? I used the term complex care when I was talking about where we're evolving to. And I'm not going to try and give you the black and white definition because it's somewhat in discussion with our funders, but I can say to you that in my mind it does reflect someone who needs constant access to nursing care. And on top of that, there may be other needs. But someone who, for instance, in our homes right now that we operate, we do have nursing consultation available. And many people are taking advantage of that. But we don't have any homes where we have 24-hour nursing. We do have that here at River Road. And as we are looking at the world right now, that complex care required by nursing is only offered out of this location at this time. In the future, it may be possible for us to have that nursing model in the community also. But for right now, that's probably what I would use for as close a definition. When should we expect a language movement in terms of modernizing of the words we used in association with support and disability? The example given is resident, RA, client, versus using language like person supported and support worker. See the difference? I think even sometimes we've used, it says resident, client, patient, versus that different language. We are constantly trying to update and stay current on the terms that we're using within this organization, and we'll continue to do so. We can model that, and we can hope that as many staff as possible, and families and community, because we're always about, we're not just educating ourselves here, we're educating our greater community too. How can we make transitions for our client moving out more accommodating and supportive? Example, sending staff for a few days to support and show what they do. So we've had, when people have transitioned so far, we've had some of the staff come and spend time with people here, and then we've had, I think, in a couple of situations, we've had people go out and spend the day, or I'm not sure they've spent the night yet, but they've gone out and spent the whole day with individuals. So we are sensitive to that. The simple answer would be, I think it would vary depending on the needs of the individual. If we have somebody that we think would benefit from having somebody around as part of their transition for a few days, that is a request that we would be open to receiving and looking at. So we're not saying that there's a policy that says you can only go there for 8 hours and then you have to leave. We are open to that discussion. Can you comment on the rumor of a building purchased for our community clients currently in our day services program here? So this is a rumor I started, and I was just hoping that somebody out there would give us a free building, and we'd agree to put their name on it. Do you remember me asking if you knew anyone who could give us, you know, because there's some really nice people out there who own a lot of property and they have a lot of money. And for them to give us part of their building would be a great thing, wouldn't it? And then we could use that space in a, you know, in another location in our community. So we don't have anything yet. The only other thing I can think of is I mentioned that we've secured some lease space on Moore, and that there's some training space available there, so a large room is available. We have not made any firm decision on what that large room will be used for, but I'm sure as some of you get in there, you will put forward your ideas, and we can then consider them. But there is no commitment to do this yet. It's a great idea. What is the expected date that more offices will be open? This is a minefield for me to answer here, because if I say December the 1st, then I'm wrong. I'm wrong. We're hoping probably by the end of December would be fair, and if we're before that, then we're really successful. So by the end of the calendar year, we're aiming for. How are people to access the mentioned leisure and personal recreation funds for the clients they work for? How will this be delineated amongst interested people? Okay, so we've announced a number of funds here today. The St.Amant Leisure Fund is James's responsibility, his area. He's going to take the leadership role for communicating how the fund will work, or how the St.Amant Leisure guide and options under it will work. It's also going to be, there's some work I think going to be done with volunteer services on that initiative, so stay tuned. For the Education Fund, the Personal Items Fund, and the Recreation Fund, Peter and Leanne have agreed in partnership to take responsibility for making sure that money gets out to the people that we support. So they will be following up with you and telling you how you can ask for the money. I think the concept is that we'd like to get it out so that people know where it is and they can access it without having to go through huge amounts of administration to get their hands on the money. But we still have to have some accountability, and to be quite honest, I'd like to know some of the stories and some of the things that we're going to do with that money so that we can tell our donors how it's made a difference. So some of the reporting will be around the financial accountability, and some of it will be just around, as an organization, we're accountable to the people that give us money, and we also want to share the joy that that money creates with those people. I work full-time at 440 River Road and need a car for my job. I pay for parking. Why should I need to park on the street if I come to work after 9:30 because the lot is full? I wrote this one. No, I don't mean to make fun. I've had this situation happen. I'm sure most of you who have to go in and out during the day will come in at some point, but I can say that my experience is this is not that frequent. I don't have an answer, because if we are all full, like today, I don't imagine you're getting a parking spot in our parking lot. So there are those exceptional times. All I can say to you is I apologize for the inconvenience, and I hope it isn't happening that frequently. St.Amant is expanding. That means hiring people. How come always female in open for jobs? Is St.Amant now hiring male healthcare aides anymore? There's a few questions about, I think when I went through here, and around our hiring practices and the gender. So here at River Road, we hire gender-specific care, meaning that if you're someone here we're supporting that is female, we are hiring someone who's female to do your care. In some other areas of our organization, we leave it up to the individual adult to make that decision about who they would be okay with providing care. So we do have slightly different approaches in our organization, which isn't a bad thing because it reflects some individual choice. But those are probably two important criteria that drive our hiring around gender. There's been a fair amount of staff leaving at the management level. What are we doing about that? Can you speak on the plan to retain and mentor leaders? So to me, this falls under the umbrella of succession planning. And I think we have a lot of great people that work for this organization, and we have people that I know have spoken to me directly and said, I would really like to move up in the organization if there's an opportunity. So we have a responsibility to offer all of you who are interested in that opportunity, if we can, for training, everything. I can give you tangible examples that happen at the executive level. If James is away, we would ask, if possible, if James could send a replacement to our executive meeting. That's an opportunity for somebody from his area to get exposed to what happens at the executive management table. I would hope that kind of thinking is happening throughout our organization. We have plans to do some coach training for 48 managers, I think, in the next number of months. We are looking at supervision in combination, supervision opportunities, roles and responsibilities, succession planning, all becomes part of our leadership excellence framework. So I can say we're working on it, and we are definitely aware that people are going to be moving in and out of their positions here. And I think I said in the past that if we have one middle management or senior management position and 10 of you apply for it and only 1 of you gets it, 9 of you or 8 of you might still want to move into another position. We're not going to stand in your way. We actually want you to be able to develop, and as part of your professional development, that might mean you have to move to another organization to get that opportunity. And that would be a good thing for you, and for the organization it's a good thing because we're not standing in your way of moving, and maybe someday you'll come back and work for us again too. It's not a simple question to answer, but it is one that we are spending a fair bit of time talking about, is how do we develop people from within. Is there any funding for environmental initiatives such as bottle filling water stations? We have, and there's another question in here I'll get to in a minute around environmental stuff. We do have a committee, and who is the chair of that committee? Cheryl. Oh, Cheryl? Welcome to St.Amant, and welcome to the chair of our environmental committee. And if you don't know Cheryl, I know this about Cheryl. She used to work for the Folk Festival, who is probably the most environmentally friendly organization there is out there. So you can expect some very positive changes as a result of her leadership on the committee. But I don't have any, like when we're going to open up the first bottle filling station. That was the question. We are looking for committee members, so whoever wrote this, go talk to Cheryl. Can you talk a little bit more about the rapid response unit, which I announced under the, we said that we, as soon as we get the signed paper that says your funding is approved for your 10 emergency foster homes. We expect, along with that, we'll get the go-ahead to do the rapid response team. So the rapid response team is a partnership within our organization between clinical services and Leanne's area, and who knows, maybe even Peter's area, depending on what the ask is. And depending on the needs of the child who is in the care of Child and Family Services, we will send out a team that will do an initial assessment, and then on that initial assessment we might see that we need to add some other disciplines in to that assessment. And because we have most of those disciplines as part of our organization, we'll be able to grow and shrink the team based on the needs of the child. So the rapid response is we're going to try and get out there as soon as we can when that child is placed in an emergency placement resource, because what the system is seeing is that, I think you're reading a lot in the papers these days about over 10,000 kids being in care. So there's hundreds of those kids that have developmental disabilities, and they're not experts in that. We are, so they're asking for our expertise, both in the assessment process and also in the placement and development of new resources for those kids. So we're not necessarily going to be the resource for all those kids, as in the home, but we may be the vehicle that drives them to that, or gets them to that new home that is more appropriate than the emergency placement resource or hotel that they're using. Happy to hear about the various funds that have been established. How do the clients access them? So I think I've talked about that. Is there a plan for paper recycling at St.Amant, Cheryl? So that will, I think there has been actually, we've had some discussion on this. It's not a new issue. The committee has some information to look at, and I know Rick's been involved in it. So hopefully, we've had questions at this town hall and at previous ones. So can we make a commitment next time to actually, I'll make a commitment. I'm actually looking at Jen to make sure we write it down and make sure we do that. We should look at a text number as a way to donate to St.Amant Foundation. Great idea. Apparently we've tried it in the past, and it's quite prohibitive cost-wise to do it. But thank you so much for thinking of the foundation, and if you have any other ideas, we'd be very open to them. There was a question around how are we doing, and this was more of a global question around how are we doing in helping people with disabilities become part of the regular community, like getting a job in the community, helping individuals we support get to their individual goals. It might be, I want a job and I'd like St.Amant and the support staff to help me get that job. And the answer is a complex one. It's a complex question in essence too, but we know we're not perfect. I bet every one of us can think of somebody here that we've got a goal set for that we haven't helped them achieve it yet. That doesn't mean we don't stop, we never stop trying. We also maybe are looking at new and different options, or we're maybe looking at breaking that goal down and seeing what skill building we can help that person develop so they can get towards that goal. I would, if the person who wrote this wanted to have a more in-depth conversation with me, I'd be very open to that, but it is, I just find it difficult to get into too much detail around it. I think this is our job as an organization when we're talking to people in the community is, it's not just about educating ourselves, it's about educating the community about people with disabilities. How about making more male positions? And I think that was the gender question that I've answered already. What is the definition of complex care? I've talked about that already. Do you foresee a change in salary pay scale for administrative assistants that work at St.Amant? We have started a compensation review at different levels in the organization, and it is part of our plan to extend that compensation review to the people that work as administrative assistants within this organization too. We have not done it yet, but it is part of our future plans. In expanding the community for clients, is the employee affected in the center? In expanding the community for clients, is the employee affected? The best way I can answer, yes. If the employee is asking from this perspective, are you impacted by the change that's going on in this organization? I would say every individual is affected by the change. Some are more affected than others, depending on maybe different areas of focus of change here. I can think of a couple of the cottages. There's been significant changes, whereas some of the living units, there maybe hasn't been as significant a change as of yet. So, best answer I can come up with there. Medical complex, again, question. And how does the strategic plan change our mission? I don't think it does change our mission. I think that our mission is here to serve people with developmental disabilities and autism, and I think we've added in our last strategic plan in related, people with related disorders, to capture people with acquired brain injury and maybe some others that need our help from the community. I don't think I can answer it any more than, in essence, go back and repeating some of the things I've said to you here today and in past town halls, where we are trying to be transparent about the changes that we're involved in this organization. And I think that we've been well known as an organization to meet unmet needs. And unmet needs for us as an executive and our board is there are other organizations that can meet people's needs, but there are some needs for whom it is best that we serve them. And we are constantly having that conversation and are revisiting who it is that we are serving and who will we serve in the future. So with that, unless there's no further questions, I want to thank you all for coming out today. I really want to thank you for your active participation through the questions. And oh yeah, flu shots. Now that I'll have you here. You have an opportunity right now to go to Auck Health and get a flu shot. And don't run. I know there's a lot of you here and you think if you take your time, you'll be, 100th in line. I think we had 38 people the first day get their flu shot, so that's a good start. And there'll be lots more communication around what's happening with flu shot opportunities. Final reminder, how much do you think I want you to fill in the engagement survey? And so with that, I'll close and thank you very much, everyone.